Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore was speaking at a prayer breakfast in Tacoma, Washington, and he decided to give the world's shittiest history lesson.
They put under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. And when they did, they said some very specific things. By the addition of the phrase under God in the pledge, the consciousness of the American people will be more alerted to the true meaning of our country and its form of government. But more importantly, the children of our land in the daily recitation of the pledge in school would be daily impressed with the true understanding of its way of life and its origin. I think we've lost a little bit of that meaning. I happen to hold right here the legislative history of that day of prayer. And I'm going to read at the end of it because they talked about something and we've forgotten. There is no comma between under God and one nation. They meant it to be so. Further, since the basic idea is a nation founded on a belief in God, there would seem to be no reason for a comma after nation. One nation under God thus becomes a single phrase, emphasizing precisely the idea desired by the authors noted above. When we say the pledge, we say, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. We pause. They didn't mean us to pause, ladies and gentlemen, and that pause has cost us a lot. It's cost us a lot because we've forgotten that God is intimately connected with this nation. Without God, there would be no nation. Without God, there would be no freedom to believe what you want. That goes all the way back to people like Thomas Jefferson in his Bill for Religious Freedom. He knew what it meant. He knew the limits of civil government. And he knew who gave us that freedom to believe what we want about God. But it comes from God. God is sovereign over our government and over our law. And when we're led to believe anything else, when we exclude him from our lives, exclude him from our law, exclude him from our courts, then they will fail.
Without God, there is no freedom and no laws, and he looks over us, and he looks over the judiciary, and God, 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 God. I want to beat off to God, and then I want to suck off God, and then I want to rub God's semen all over me. Imagine that this guy was giving the same speech, but in Pakistan, and his skin was darker, and he was saying Allah, and he had a beard. We would call him a terrorist. We would say, sweet baby Jesus, this guy's in the Taliban. Oh, but he has white skin, and he's not talking about Muhammad. He's not talking about Allah. He's talking about Christianity, the good white God, even though, by the way, Jesus was from the Middle East. So he would have looked Middle Eastern. He wouldn't have looked white. Sorry to burst everybody's bubble. But because it's one of our insane people, all of a sudden it's better. The dude just said there's no freedom and no law without God. I beg to differ. Quite the opposite, son. God, historically, the idea of God in government has done nothing but take away freedom. What do you think the Inquisition was? What do you think the Crusades were? What do you think the Salem witch trials were? What do you think the government of Saudi Arabia and Iran are doing right now? They are theocratic governments that do nothing but care about God, and they have no freedom whatsoever because their focus is on God. I mean, when you care about God, when you care about a holy book and try to set a government up around a holy book, you can have so many silly things that you have to abide by. You know, men, if you go by the Bible, men are never allowed to cut their hair. Men are never allowed to shave their face. We need to ban the sale of pork. You can't eat pork. You can't eat shellfish, crab, shrimp, etc., etc. I mean, you can't. Women need to sleep outside of their houses when they have their period. They're not allowed to be under the same roof as a man when they have their period. The list goes on and on, man. Of all of the patently ridiculous shit we'd have to ban over half of the clothing industry. Why? Because it's an abomination in the eyes of God to wear a mix of two different fabrics. Well, every single clothing company mixes fabrics, so there'd be no more clothing industry. I mean, to actually believe that having a godly government leads to more freedom, you're just a dunce. You just haven't studied history. You haven't even read your own holy book, which you supposedly believe. And then to all your points about God and the Pledge of Allegiance, he specifically referenced Thomas Jefferson. Oh, Thomas Jefferson knew Christianity was great and we needed the government to be involved with Christianity, and it is what it is, man. He was super religious. Quote, Christianity is the most perverted system that ever shone on man. Who said that? A guy by the name of Thomas frickin' Jefferson. Quote, there is not one redeeming feature in our superstition of Christianity. It has made half the world fools and the other half hypocrites. Thomas Jefferson. And I don't know if you caught it there, but it even said it on the screen when he was like, they put under God in the pledge. Yeah, you know when they did that? In 1954. And the reason they did it is to say fuck you to the Soviet Union, who were largely atheists, who we didn't like and we were eventually in an arms race with. That's why we did it. He acts like the Founding Fathers were sitting around and trading Bible verses. The Founding Fathers were deists. They came out of an Enlightenment time. They weren't these uber-religious people like you are. Look, the final thing I'll say here is you have to understand something. It is so ironic that these guys right here, they're the first people to say, we need to ban Sharia law in Oklahoma, as if Sharia law is coming to Oklahoma in 17 minutes if we don't do it. But meanwhile, they don't even realize they agree with most of what's in Sharia law. They really do. They have the same mindset, ban all abortion, get rid of all abortion, gay people are terrible and they can't marry, don't give them rights, women need to stay in the fucking kitchen, we need to have the death penalty for all these different crimes. All the things that he wants to set up as a Christian government, an Islamic government largely agrees with him. So they are the Christian Taliban. That's why we call them the Christian Taliban. And again, this guy, you could tell he's deeply conservative. They pretend to believe in small government, but they want the government to get in your private life and tell you all these things and say, Jesus demands you don't do this and don't do that and don't do that.